Hi everyone, it's Deb Raven here from Life is What You Make It. And if you haven't seen any of my videos before, I just hop on here a couple of times a week normally and just share some tips and tricks and strategies that I've been able to not only use myself over the years, but also to share with other women who I've had the pleasure of working with. And the people that I work with are women over the age of 50 who want to find or create work that really lights them up and that is purposeful and meaningful to them. And that can look like anything. That can look like changing industries. That can look like um, going for a director's job. That can look like starting your own business. That can also look like cutting down on your hours so that you can maybe create something else that you've always had a calling on your heart for. So that's the kind of work that I do. And all of these tips that I share with you are in an effort to help you kind of up level every area of your life, because the work that I do isn't just about the job, it is about your life. So I was reminded today when I was working with a client that we had this thing called the pandemic. And I know that it's still going on, and in some parts of the country, it's way worse than other parts. So we won't get into that debate. But we've all been hit by the effects of the pandemic. And for some of us, it's been 18 months of maybe seclusion, maybe out of work, maybe displaced from work. Some of you have been laid off, some of you have been working from home. It's all given us not only a chance to pause, but it's given all of us a chance to probably get out of a normal routine. And sometimes when you get out of a normal routine, you can get a little bit lazy. And it's really difficult to kind of get out of that rut. And because it was really easy to sit around in your pajamas or your pajama pants all day long, or your sweatpants, even if you were working. Some of you never got dressed, sometimes for days. And there's no judgment here, because I certainly had some days of being in pajamas, but we need to get out of this now. And sometimes when things get so routine, it gets really ingrained in us, and it's hard to get out of that. And I don't know if you found this, but sometimes the days could lead into weeks, and then the weeks led into months. And all the while you're feeling a little bit more stuck and a little bit more depressed. A lot of you might be living with partners that maybe you didn't have the greatest relationships before the pandemic, when you guys were both out of the house working. And now maybe with both of you in the house, and maybe you have some children still at home or grandchildren, that creates a whole nother dynamic. So you have stressors of a relationship, maybe stressors of a job, remote learning, remote work. Maybe the technology has tripped you up. I know it sure did for me. There's a lot of stress. So how do we get out of this? And the easiest way that I can say this, because it actually isn't that difficult, it seems like it is, but the thing that I want to say to you is it's a decision to do that. It's a decision to get out of this feeling of inertia, this feeling of no structure in our days, no sense of urgency. Because when the pandemic was fully hit, you weren't going anywhere. So there was no sense of urgency to do anything. I'll do that later. Now we need to get unstuck. So it's deciding, okay, this isn't working for me. Maybe some of you have gone back into your work or back into your workplace, and it's a reminder of how much you hate it, how much you don't want to be there. Maybe working from home during the pandemic, it was like, okay, it's not that bad because I don't have to work with those people that I really don't like, or with a boss that I really don't respect. Maybe you're now back at that. So things are even more magnified. So it's a decision to make a change. And I'm not saying that it's not a process, but it is a fairly simple process. It starts with the decision. And it starts with the decision to show up for yourself. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to present to the rest of the world? This tired, haggard, bitter, miserable, depressed woman? Or this woman who lights up the room when they walk in, are full of energy and vitality and has a smile on their face and looks pleasant and easily approachable, rather than this. And we've all been there. And it's a decision to how you want to show up. And when you decide that you want to show up for yourself, you will show up better for others. And because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So how you show up for yourself is actually how you're going to show up for other people. And you can do this with ease, or you can do this with effort. You can make it hard. You can go, oh my goodness, I have all these things I need to do. I need to lose weight. I need to stop drinking so much wine. I need to smarten up my relationship with my significant other. I need to get out of my job. I need. I should. All of those things together seem like this great big, wasp net of nest of stuff that's hard to unravel. You just have to start with one thing at a time. And if you want things to be different, you need to design and create it. That's as simple as it gets. If you want something, design it, create it, take the steps towards it, and it's like magic. It happens. It cannot not happen. And that goes for anything. Losing weight, finding a dream job, creating your own business, getting out of a crappy relationship, finding a wonderful relationship, connecting more with family and friends. All of those things are all possibilities. You need to decide on that, and you need to take the steps. You need to design it, and then you need to take the steps to get there. And you also need to create enough space for yourself so that you have time and you have energy and you have vitality to do those. And sometimes that means setting boundaries with other people, like maybe your boss, asking you to work extra hours, asking you to take extra shifts. Saying no so that you can actually protect your own boundaries, so that you can work on you. You can work on how you want to be showing up in the world. Maybe a significant other has time restraints or boundaries that you need to be setting with them. They want to spend too much time with you. They want to be going out every weekend. They don't want to help around the house. They don't want to do chores. They don't want to do laundry. They don't want to do grocery shopping. It's setting your boundaries to make yourself important and respect yourself enough that it's okay to ask for help, so that you create more space within your day so that you can design and create. And the biggest thing that I think that women over 50 do is that we let ourselves down. And what I mean by that is that we keep our word to other people. We give and we give and we give and we take care of others, often at the detriment to ourselves. And so to keep that promise to yourself, keep that word to yourself. If you're going to design something to either get out of a crappy job, find a new one, design a new one, get out of the crappy relationship, lose 10 pounds or 20, stop drinking so much wine, whatever it is, decide on one thing at a time and keep your word to yourself. And after you've kept your word for a period of time, 4 to 6 weeks, it pretty much becomes a habit. Then you can go on to something else. So it's one little step at a time. So don't let yourself down. And be really clear on what your expectations are for yourself. Again, if you try to do too much, you're going to fail. And then it's back to the starting gate again. If you set yourself up for success, then you're much more willing to take on the next thing that you want to take. And take responsibility for how you're showing up, because your energy and your frequency are everything. We can decide just to show up better in the world. That doesn't mean that we're not going to have a bad day. That doesn't mean we're not going to have an argument with our significant other. It doesn't mean that. But it means generally, like 95% of the time, you show up as that authentic, beautiful self who does great things in the world and enjoys their life and enjoys helping other people. I'm sure that that's how most of us want to show up. If that's not you, then you can just hit delete on this video. And again, your frequency and your vibe, how you're projecting yourself to other people, you're going to get that reflected right back to you. You're going to attract those kinds of people. If you're showing up like this and you're sad and you're depressed and you're pissy and you're not engaged in life, and yet, oh my goodness, I really want to be dating, I really want to find a partner, and you're showing up like this, that is exactly who you're going to attract. And when you attract that person, you're going to go, oh no, like they didn't give off a good vibe. They weren't happy. They weren't joyful. They weren't funny, because you're not presenting yourself in that way. I use the relationship as an example, but you could say that about anything. You could say that about your employer, a prospective employer, an interview, your kids, navigating the adult relationships with our adult kids is sometimes very difficult. So we have to show up in a different way than what we did when they were running around the house with diapers on. Anyways, how you show up for you is how you show up to the rest of the world. And I invite you, if you've created some bad habits during the pandemic and you're not feeling very good about it and you're not showing up in the world the way that you want to show up, pick one thing that you want to change. And if that one thing happens to be that you want to get out of this job that you're currently in and find or create something that really lights you up, whether that's up-leveling your professional life in terms of going for a higher position, or whether that means downsizing your professional life to create more freedom and flexibility into your 50s and your 60s, then I invite you to book a breakthrough call with me. On that 45-minute free call, we just take a look at what's not working in your work life right now and where you would like to be potentially. And if I can help you fill that gap in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to tell you what that looks like. And if I can't, then that's okay too. I'm going to leave you with some tips and some strategies so that you can hopefully do things on your own. So if you would like to do that, you can go to my calendar page to book a spot at Deb Raven, my name, debraven.com/apply, and you can pick a spot on there. I ask you to fill out a short little questionnaire application form that's going to be sent to you after you book that call. Please fill that out. It's really nice for me to have a little bit of information before we jump into a call so I can help you to the best of my ability in a much faster fashion. So again, if you want to book a free 45-minute breakthrough session, no strings attached, go to debraven.com/apply. And we'll see you all again soon.